Welcome to The Productive Entrepreneur, where experts offer their tips for working smarter and accomplishing more in less time. Today's guest is Kimberly Lane Clark. Kimberly is a nationally award-winning educator and speaker based in Texas. She was recently named 2018 ISTE Emerging Leader. She coaches hundreds of educators both face-to-face and virtually in computer science integration, diversity inclusion strategies, blended learning strategies, and educational technology. In the latter part of her years in education, she also served as a campus technology coordinator. Kimberly is currently a director of blended learning in Texas. In addition to being a director of blended learning, she also currently serves as a technology consultant for Code.org Ed Tech team and guest technology consultant for Global Academic Technology Essentials Teacher Institute at Mississippi State University. She serves as the city lead for Black Tech Women in Dallas, Texas. And in 2016, she was selected as the third cohort of the TED-Ed Innovators, and she currently serves as the 2018-2019 ISTE Computer Science Network President. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being with me.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity. This is such an amazing opportunity to kind of reach out with the viewers in regards to being productive on a day-to-day basis.
So I've read your bio. Tell me something about you that's not in your bio.
Oh my goodness, I think everything's in there. Just one thing about me that I think people really don't realize is I love to garden. It's kind of off topic, but I am really a green thumb, and people really don't realize that. People hear me and say, "Are you serious?" But yeah, I really love to garden. It's a really good hobby of mine that I actually kind of do. I hate that it's cold outside because I currently really can't get outside.
That's a good hobby to have. I kill cactuses, so.
Oh
Cacti.
no!
Is that how you say cacti? Anyway. Tell me what your favorite apps are for productivity.
Oh my goodness. So my favorite app is Google Keep. If you've never heard of Google Keep, it's absolutely amazing. You can even pin it to your tab in Google Chrome. And anytime you have like an email or you have a website that you kind of wanted to notate it to or to add it to a note that you want to go back to, you're able to do that. And it works on all of your devices. It's all one account. You actually can send it to kind of your spouse, or if you have like a partner within your business or things like that, you can actually use it. So I absolutely love Google Keep. That's my go-to app for being productive, because I think sometimes we get off track.
What does it do for you specifically?
So basically, it's kind of like a reminder. It's just a kind of a sticky note. It looks like on your desktop, but it has so many more features than just a reminder, emailing, and it's just kind of it organizes everything in with what you need to do.
Perfect. Do you use any specific apps on your phone that are different from your laptop?
No, because Google Keep works with my phone. That's the only one that I use. I actually have an iPhone. So another one that I kind of go to and use is reminders, and that's what Apple has. And those are the ones that I think keep me the most productive, because although I have it in my calendar, sometimes I tend to just ignore the calendar, but my Google Keep actually, and it's where you can organize it in different colors. So you can color code it if you're someone that needs things that are color coded for something that's really important. You might have it red, or something that's the least important, you might have it purple. That actually helps me as well. So that's the one that I have on my phone, is Google Keep. And then reminders is just something that Apple has that I think really helps me when I don't look at my Google Keep or my calendar. Reminder reminds me.
Do you keep your email at 0?
I do. It is such an annoyance to me And I say this because I think some people say that I'm a hypocrite because I literally have like 400 text messages that I don't answer. I will answer my email. So I do keep my email at a zero all the time. I think if I don't have it at a zero, I kind of go into a frenzy and think that I haven't responded to an email that I need to respond to. And so good thing about Google, it keeps, kind of the spam down. So you don't have a lot of that junk mail. You can kind of, make sure that it's not there or kind of put it away or put it aside. That's what kind of I like about Gmail accounts. So yeah, and I have about 4 different accounts for different things. And so yeah, I keep it at 0. Oh yeah.
All of them are at 0.
Yes.
Do you folder everything, or
I do.
Are you moving it to an outside app, or?
Yes, so I do folder everything after the fact. It actually doesn't go, I don't have any conditionals on there where if it's, someone from work that I put it in a different folder or things like that. I like to look at all of them prior to that time, and then I kind of put them in the different folders that I need it to be in. Any speaking engagements, any work that I'm doing, any type of consultant work, I have them all in different folders, which kind of keeps you, when you're going back and looking for things, you're knowing what that particular topic is, and you can automatically have it in your folder.
How do you maintain focus throughout the day?
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if I maintain focus. It might be something insane that people say that I actually do. And I, in my day-to-day job, I'm constantly working with students and teachers. So I think that, but I'm always on my email as well. So keeping focus, I think being on my email and keeping my day-to-day things that come up, I think that keeps me focused on what I'm doing, and I love what I do. So that also keeps me focused as well. I don't know if that was kind of a true answer to how do I keep focused. I just make sure that what I have to do that day gets done. And I kind of feel better at the end of the day if that particular thing that's been on my to-do list or been in my Google Keep or been on my calendar per se is done and I haven't missed any invites. I try to make sure I keep up with that. But also, I'm just going back and thinking, when I wake up in the morning, of course, I think everybody looks at their phone the first thing. But I kind of plan out my day on that Sunday, or my week, on what I'm going to do on a day-to-day basis. And that kind of keeps me focused as well. But things happen. So I think if you're too stuck on what is supposed to happen on that day, you can kind of get thrown off if something comes and, kind of gets in your way, which life happens, things happen. But on that Sunday, I try to make sure I plan out and look at my week ahead. And Google Calendar is really good for that too. It'll kind of give you a week ahead on what's going on. So you can kind of gauge your day and day to day during that week.
Do you plan out a quarter or a year in advance?
Oh my goodness, no. I should. I don't think that is when you're doing entrepreneur or consultant or just having a regular job. I think 3 months is good enough. I do try to plan out 90 days, especially if I know that things are going to happen. If I have some type of speaking engagements and things like that, I try to make sure those are on my calendar already. I try to do at least 90 days, not a year. Because you never know what happened. But I still think it should be on your radar. Not per se that I know people that literally have every day planned out. And, that may work for them. That could be productive for them. But I think it's what works for you, what makes yourself productive in your day-to-day life, because it's your life.
How do you limit distractions, whether it be phone or email or anything?
So unplugging is extremely important. I try to take a day out of the week to unplug. Unplug from social media, unplug from emailing. Although I keep my email at 0, I try to make sure I unplug one of those days, even if it's for an hour. That is something that I think is extremely important just for self-wellness, self-care. I think it's important to make sure that you unplug. And over the holidays, I try to make sure that I unplug. Although I think it's really hard, especially in today's society. If that's how you make your money is on social media. It's really hard, but we still need, because, you have to think about it. What happens if, the world unplugs and something happens? What would happen? What would you do? You'd be able to function. We functioned before without phones and, social media. So I think you can.
What is your social media strategy? Do you plan out what you're posting? Do you wing it?
So I actually there are several apps that you can use, especially on Twitter. I know LinkedIn has TweetDeck is one that TweetDeck is where you can actually see everything at one place. But there are tons of apps that you can actually use to plan out your feeds, especially if it's something, that you have coming up, an event or things like that. You want to make sure that it's coming in within that time. So those are really good. And there's some, and I'm trying to think about which ones they are, that I've used in the past, where it actually will just tweet for you or just send it out for you. But I typically just wing it, especially on Twitter. Twitter is something that's really big for me. Instagram is kind of my second one that I really use. LinkedIn is another one, but LinkedIn is more professional per se, making sure things there are extremely professional in regards to what you're doing with LinkedIn. But if it's something that you're building your brain for, then of course it would be on LinkedIn. But there are, and I'm trying to think of the Twitter one, and I'll get back with you on that piece of it, on the actual names of them that you can use that'll actually tweet out for you.
What new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life in the last 5 years?
A new behavior is just, so recently, and this is literally maybe like 2 days ago during the new year, and I know you said 5 years, but I'm thinking back to exactly, I've actually did this, but didn't realize that I was doing it. It's focusing on a word for that particular year. And I've noticed that I actually have been doing this, and I just didn't really give it a definition of what it was. But I think within the last past 5 years, I've really tried to focus on and being persistent, having that grit and following through on things. And so that's something that I think is a belief that I didn't have prior to me kind of venturing out into what I needed to do and think about. But that was really a great thing that I thought that, and Melinda Gates actually brought it to my attention on LinkedIn. However, it's something that I've been doing really. I've been really just focusing on one thing throughout the year and making sure that it's great. And so that's what I think everybody else should do, is just find that one thing that you want to make sure that that goal is accomplished. And a lot of times our goals are short-term goals or long-term goals, and maybe intermediate, but whatever that is, make sure that that's all surrounding. It's all within that one goal. Everything is cohesive and together. And that's what I've been doing. It's been seeming to work.
So not necessarily choosing a word, but focusing on a specific goal.
Yes. And goals, sometimes they can be short term, sometimes they can be long term, sometimes they can be right then and there. However, I think if it's a goal, you have to have a plan, you have to build upon it. So you need to make sure that you're focusing on that particular one, because I think sometimes we have so many different things that we want to accomplish. So many goals, but then we look around and it's December the 31st and we really haven't accomplished anything because I think we've all over the place. But if you focus on that one thing, and then once that's completed, whether or not it took you 6 months or 3 months, then it's there and it's done.
I agree. Do you use any specific type of journal or calendar?
So my only calendar that I use in regards to that is Google Gmail. That's the only thing that I use to look at my goals. But in regards to a calendar, there are tons of planners. And I've tried a lot of the planners, honestly. But my notes in my iPhone is really what I put my goals in. That's the only thing that I tend to go to. I've tried tons of planners, honestly. The digital planners, the ones with the cute stickers on there, the ones that, you know, you can plan out throughout the entire year. But when I come to something, especially when I'm doing keynotes and when I'm having to speak, I tend to, when I come up on a situation or something that I had an aha moment, I just immediately put it in my notes. And so I have notes all the way back to literally probably 6 or 7 years that I can go back and expound on, or if I attend events, I put them in my notes. And that's something that I have really kept up with, and I think that has worked for me. So you don't really have to get fancy all the time. You know, people say, hey, what's this best planner that you can use? But what about that good old paper and pencil? Now, however, I'm not a paper and pencil girl. So I need the digital aspect of it. And I make sure that I sync it to when I upload it to several other locations, because what if something happens to my phone? What if something happens to the cloud? You know, hey, what's going to happen? So make sure that you sync it and you download it and you have a backup at that time as well.
Any last minute productivity tips that you have to offer our audience?
My last thought is just to choose one thing that you want to work on. Find that goal that's in your mind, and don't think that it's not obtainable, because it is. And when you're thinking about that goal, have you a short-term, a long-term, kind of a immediate, where you're going to actually look at in looking at your goal. And focus on that, especially sometimes because we have these big goals in our mind that I think sometimes we wake up and, you know, it's the end of the year and we really haven't, achieved any of them. But if you focus on that goal and just hit the road and just get the grit down and find the hustle within that, I think you'll be able to be as productive as you can. Life happens. However, I think if it's meant for you to be, it will be.
Tell us what's up for you in 2019. Where can we find you?
Oh my goodness. So I of course have my education consultant business where I am just a consultant there, which is Ask a Techno Girl. But I'm also venturing out to something called Where My Girls At. And so people probably like, okay, I've heard the song before, but this is a mentoring a group where girls can come to get the opportunity. I think a lot of times we, with young ladies in STEM and computer science fields, they don't have the opportunity. They know that there is a lack of them in computer science and CS fields. However, they don't have the opportunity. It never presents itself to them, especially if they're in a low-income area. So I'm creating something called Where My Girls At, and it's just a space where girls can go and locate different scholarships and opportunities for them to be able to go to and look at it and be other than that one person that's there.
That's great. I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.